everyone, welcome back to my channel, Nobody Asked Chris. If this is your first time here, Nobody Asked Chris is a channel where I'll give my unwanted opinions on different movies, shows, music, or whatever else I want to talk about that week, in addition to updating you guys on my lock journey. So today's video is going to be about Disney's new remake of Mulan, which just released on their streaming service, Disney Plus, this past Friday. So Mulan remake, I did pay $30 for it, in addition to my Disney Plus subscription. I tried to avoid like any kind of reviews, like I wanted to give my own review because I didn't want anyone else's review to influence mine, either subconsciously or consciously. So that was like me having to like dodge the Mulan trending tag and like the news articles, because I do read a lot of like articles on like Disney especially, and like what they have coming out and stuff. So Google News was always like, oh, Mulan reviews are in on my notification bar, and I just had to like quickly swipe it off my notification bar so that way I wasn't reading someone else's review before I gave my own honest review without having them influence me. So like the Mulan remake obviously was supposed to come out in theaters, but with Corona happening and everything, and theaters being shut down in different areas and being open in other areas, it wouldn't have made as much money as it could have if everything was open. So then Disney was like decided to put it on their streaming service, but of course they want to make their profit, so then they ended up making it a premiere access kind of movie. So instead of just putting it directly on the streaming service like they do for other movies, they made it an exclusive premiere access thing where you had to pay $30 in order to get access to that, in addition to the other movies on Disney Plus and stuff. So at first, when the news came out a few weeks/months ago, I don't know, like time is an illusion. I don't know how long ago it was, but when they first talked about it, people were saying on social media that it was a rental, and I was like flabbergasted, because who would in the right mind would pay $30 to rent a movie for 2 days? I don't even want to pay like the $2 that it costs to rent a movie online, let alone 30. So I was like, I'm definitely not seeing that, and if I am gonna see it, it won't be on Disney Plus. That's all I'm gonna say. And then like time went by, and then it was announced that you would actually be able to own it, so it'd be in your catalog essentially forever until your Disney Plus subscription is like, until you cancel it or whatever. So then I was like, okay, like, you know, $30 is still like kind of pricey for a movie. I'm not gonna argue that at all. I don't know, like $30 is, I don't know, pretty up there in pricing for a movie, especially when you don't know if you're gonna like it or not. But I paid it. Call me a sucker if you want. I paid $30 for it, and honestly, after watching it, I don't really want my money back. Do I still think $30 was too much? Yes, but I don't regret it. Can those two things coexist? Can I not? Okay, anyway, that's for the philosophy majors to figure out. If you haven't seen the original Mulan, which came out in like the late 90s, I don't know, sometime before I was born. I want to say the 1998 it came out. It was a Disney animated movie, which I don't know if it did well. I just know it's well received now. A lot of people like Mulan. It's about this, it takes place in China, and it's about this girl who grows up, you know, not quite fitting into her society's, into the role she's supposed to have in society. Her family wants her to be like the perfect woman and to be like the perfect wife and prepare her for this life of like marriage and domestication, but she doesn't quite fit in. And then so the antagonists of the original Mulan are the Huns, which are invading China. And in order to stop this invasion, the emperor conscripts one man from each family in China. And Mulan is an only child, and so her father has to go. But her father is injured from a previous war that he fought. So she knows, and everyone knows, that if he goes to war, he's an older man at this point, an older injured man. So if he goes to war, they know he won't come back. And so Mulan is like, no, I can't have that. So then she cuts her hair, and she goes off to the army and pretends to be his son in order for him not to fight in the war. So she has to hide her identity as a woman, because if she's found out to be a woman in the army, she'll be executed. And yeah, she'll be executed, so she has to keep her secret hidden. And so yeah, the movie deals with her struggling to hide her being a woman, but also trying to fit in with her fellow soldiers and really try to do her best to succeed as a soldier, because this quickly becomes something, oh, I'm just going to protect my father, to I want to be a valuable part, a valuable member of the army. So it's a pretty good movie. The songs are great. I personally think, what does it, Make a Man Out of You gets a little bit too much. Like, it's a good song, but is it the title track of Mulan? Let's see. I'm like 80% sure Make a Man Out of You is the title track to Mulan. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know if I'll Make a Man Out of You is Mulan's, like, that's Mulan's song, kind of like Let It Go for Frozen, or How Far I'll Go for Moana, or like every Disney movie has, at least a princess movie anyway, has that one song that, like, this, I want this to be the song for this movie. Like, there are many songs in these movies, but these are the ones that I want to be with the movie. I don't know if that's the case for I'll Make a Man Out of You, or if it's Reflection, but I'll Make a Man Out of You is a good song. I will give it that. But I think people give I'll Make a Man Out of You way too much, like way too much. Like, it's a good song, but honestly, Honor to Us All is a better song than I'll Make a Man Out of You, and that is one of the many hills that I will die on in my life, is that Honor to Us All is just a better song than I'll Make a Man Out of You. The instruments is better. The singing, the singers are better. I don't know, like the sound. I don't know. I just like listening to Honor to Us All a lot more than I'll Make a Man Out of You. Like, if I listen to I'll Make a Man Out of You, I'll listen to it like once or twice. But then Honor to Us All, like, I can listen to that on repeat, because it's just so nice, you know. So that's my hot take on I'll Make a Man Out of You. It's given way too much. So the remake, like, leading the months leading up to the remake's original, like, theater release, it was shared that it wouldn't be exactly like the animation from the 90s, because this remake is supposed to be much more true to the Chinese legend of Mulan, as opposed to, like, Disney's original movie, where they obviously took creative liberties because it was Disney and it was supposed to be marketed toward younger audiences. But this one, it was said that they were trying to be more true to the legend. So, like, different elements from the original movie weren't in there. So there was no Mushu, who was the talking dragon played by Eddie Murphy in the original. There were no there were no songs at all. Um, some characters were added, some were taken out, some were just changed completely, and so different things like that happened. And honestly, I think all the changes I was happy with. At least I didn't hate them. I didn't, like, say, "Oh my gosh, like, I can't believe that changed," because one, and I think I felt that way for a few reasons. So one, like, Mulan is a good movie, and I will never not say that. But Mulan, I wouldn't say it's one of my top favorites. A lot of people are saying, like, like, Mulan is their favorite and everything. So, like, Mulan isn't my favorite. So them adding changes to it or taking some things out didn't really upset me, as, like, a die-hard fan of the original might be upset, because I'm just not that closely attached to the Mulan story. Also, I went into this new remake knowing that there were going to be changes, and I wasn't, like, completely blindsided, like, oh my gosh, looking for Mushu the entire movie, or looking for this character, or wondering who that character was the entire movie, because I wasn't prepared. Like, I knew there were going to be changes to it. So I think those are, like, the two reasons why I didn't hate the changes. I enjoyed a lot of them, actually. Um, let's see. I mean, obviously this is going to contain spoilers. So the first thing is the song. Like, the main thing that I the main thing is, like, the songs, because everyone knows Disney movies have songs, at least the animated ones. It drives the plot. It's fun to sing along with. Kids enjoy it because they get to sing for the next 3 months the same song. I'm looking at you, Frozen. And yeah, so, like, it's a thing. Disney movies have songs. This one didn't. At first, how did I feel about it? I don't know how I feel. I felt okay about it. Like I said, Mulan isn't like, I wouldn't go to war for the Mulan movie original. I wouldn't go to war for the Mulan movie. So it not having songs wasn't a huge takeaway from me, because I like what they did, like, in certain scenes where, like, Mulan is getting ready to meet the matchmaker, and usually Honor to Us All would play, my favorite song on the soundtrack. Honor to Us All would play, and they would all the cast would sing. Obviously, in this remake, that's a bit more true to the legend. That wouldn't just fit into there. So what they did instead was just have it in the score in the background and just have it in the background, and I can hear like the instrumental of Honor to Us All playing in the back, and I just got so excited because I'm humming along to it. And so they did that many times. When Reflection usually played in the original Mulan movie, they played the score slash instrumental version of Reflection. I don't think they played the score slash instrumental version of I'll Make a Man Out of You or A Girl with Worth Fighting For, but they did have it in the dialogue, so people said it. I know when Mulan's commander was Mulan's commander when someone was, I think it was either Mulan's father or the commander of the Imperial Army who was talking about the power of chi, which is like the energy that's supposed to flow through all living things. When he was talking about chi, he was saying that a warrior has a lot of chi, and so they're tranquil as a forest but on fire within, which is a well-known line from I'll Make a Man Out of You. So they had different moments like that. So despite them not having like any songs whatsoever throughout the movie, they still had those little, I want to say like they had those little Easter eggs where fans who know the first movie were able to pick up on it, like, oh, they still included that, they still included that. So that was nice. So because they didn't just take it out completely and just say whatever, like they, it was nice. It was nice. Did I like Mulan's character a lot more? I think I liked one thing about this remake that I wish it did more of was character development. Like I know it was like the movie's like almost 2 hours long. Like I want to say an hour and like 54 minutes long. So I know like adding more scenes and stuff like that would have pushed it, and they probably didn't want to do that, make it that long, make the runtime that long. But I do wish that there was more character development in the remake. I feel like in the original we got to meet a lot of the characters and just get to know them a bit more. Like Mulan in the remake, I don't really learn. She doesn't really get much of a personality besides, oh, she can fight. She wants to do right by her family and her country, and she wants to fight in the war to save them from the northern invaders. Like, yeah, that's fine. We know she's courageous. We know she's honorable, but also, I don't know. Like, I felt like it was very, is it two-dimensional or one-dimensional? Whichever dimensional after that. Like it was like flat. What is two-dimensional? Wait, what is one-dimensional then? Two-dimensional is flat. Three-dimensional is like a cube thing. What is one-dimensional? I'll Google that later. Yeah, I feel like she was very flat as a character other than that. Like she cracks some jokes here and there, but they seem forced. It didn't, like when she cracks jokes, it doesn't seem like Mulan. It seems like she's trying to make a joke to fit in, as opposed she's making a joke because she's naturally funny and she wants to, like, you know what I mean? Like when you make a joke, like I don't know how to explain. Like when you make a joke and you're like, you make a joke and it's easygoing, it's natural, it's like, haha, I made a joke. This one felt like, let me come up with a joke real quick so they can all laugh and we can have a laugh scene in here real quick. And it didn't feel natural for Mulan to joke because they hadn't established her as a character who could also be easygoing and light and everything. And granted, like they're in a war, they're fighting. There's only so much you can be lighthearted and everything, but I feel like her humor was forced. And other than like her like character development, I think her connection with the soldiers was a lot more dimmed down than in the original movie. The like she there was a group of soldiers, and it's the same group of soldiers, she gets along with and she usually hangs out with in the original. But I felt like in these ones we didn't see her interact with this other group of soldiers very often. And when we did, it was like what, 2 or 3 times they came together and talked, and like they were making fun of each other, and like, obviously that's their dynamic. I don't think the movie did a great job of portraying Mulan bonding with the other soldiers in the Imperial Army. I think they became, in the beginning, obviously they butted heads and everything, and they had maybe 2-3 scenes max of Mulan and her fellow small group of soldiers talking to each other. And then boom, at the end of the movie, when they find out Mulan's a woman, they're like, we're willing to follow you, and we stand up for you and everything like that. And it was like a very familial, wholesome feeling to it. But I felt like it fell a bit short because we didn't see any lead up to that. There was no, oh, like, I don't know, like even like the small things, like, how was your day today? How do your eggs taste? I don't know, like, you know what I'm talking about, when characters have these small moments, and they don't have to be huge, like these small pockets of connection where they bond over time. I feel like they didn't have those. They just had like these 1, 2, 3 chunks of conversation, and then boom, at the end, all of a sudden they're like the best of buds and everything, and we're supposed to connect with that on an emotional level, when like I personally didn't, and I had to rely on my personal like experiences watching the original movie, and I had to rely on a lot of scenes from the original movies to really get there for this. And I think if you're gonna remake something, don't leave that out, because that was an integral part of the original Mulan, is that the soldiers, they built up this rapport, they built up this togetherness, and I didn't quite see that enough in this remake. So I just, that's some food for thought right there. Also, a big change. I personally think this is one of, if not the largest change in the new Mulan, is that Mulan reveals herself as a woman on her own terms, as opposed to in the original movie, she's injured and she's found out to be a woman because they have to bandage her, like, remove her clothes and bandage her and get her all back healed up. In this one, she decides, enough is enough. I'm taking off my bandages. I'm taking off my armor. I don't know why she took off her armor. It's not like because she's a woman she is impervious all of a sudden, but like that was just a minor thing. I'm taking off my armor. I'm owning myself as a woman. Here I am. I'm here to fight. Which was very, like, wow, finally, like, Mulan is owning herself. It was very nice to see her taking that into her own hands, as opposed to the original, where it was up to someone else to expose her as a woman. So that was nice. I liked that a lot. My favorite change of the remake was this witch that was working with the northern invaders of China, and I don't think they ever say her name. They just refer to her as, oh, like the witch, the witch, the witch. She could take on the form of a bird. She could take over someone else's body. She was just really cool, and it was just really interesting to see her on screen and just have this other character. They made her a kind of sympathetic villain, which at first I was like, ugh, like, why couldn't she just be evil because she's evil? Like, because, sometimes, like, sympathetic villains are nice, they have a valid reason for what they're doing, yada, yada, yada. But, like, sometimes I just want my characters to be evil and to be bad, and that's okay, too. And I really, I ended up liking her and liking her backstory as the movie progressed. I still would have preferred for her just to be evil because she wants to be, and she just wants to cause ruckus, because sometimes people just need that. And I mean, does it make them kind of flat? Maybe, but I don't think we always have to have a sympathetic villain. And I do see a trend in that, and like, I have a valid reason, and you would do this if you were me. Sometimes I just want a villain to be a villain because they want to be a villain and they have nothing else better to do. So that's my take on it. But she was an amazing character. Was she an amazing character? She was a very interesting character. Her powers were cool. Seeing her in action, fighting the Imperial soldiers and everything was really cool. And just, I think she was the best. I think she was my favorite change anyway. The most important change was Mulan taking ownership of her revelation of being a woman. I think that was the most important, but I think my favorite one was just the addition of this witch in the remake, and how every time she just walked on the screen, she owned it. She was the star each time she was on the screen. And so I really appreciated that aspect of it. Overall, I liked it a lot. I don't regret buying it. I watched it with my mom the first time, and she liked it as well. She liked it a lot. And the thing is, it didn't feel too Disney, if that makes sense. Like, when you watch it, like, obviously you're watching Mulan, but there's also nothing that screams, oh my gosh, this is a Disney movie. Like, the original has songs, it has music, it has talking animals and stuff. So like, you're constantly reminded this is a Disney movie. But I feel like for Mulan, you don't have that, and it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just something that I noticed. Like, it doesn't feel as Disney, which makes sense because it's a remake. It's more true to the legend. There are many changes to there are a number of changes that are made to the story to try to make it fit the original legend. So I do understand why it's like that. But that's just something that I noticed when I was like when I first finished watching it, when I was rewatching it, that it doesn't scream like this is a Disney production. It just screams this is a movie that just so happened to be remade by Disney. So that's how I felt personally. Other people obviously could have other opinions on that. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. I didn't have any problems rewatching it because it was just really enjoyable. The costuming was great. The makeup was great. The acting was great. I'm trying to think. I don't think there was any bad acting. Like I said, like the writing could use a little bit work. I wish we had a lot more intimate moments with Mulan and her other soldiers. That was like my main pet peeve, is that we didn't get those intimate moments like we did in the first one. I would give this an 8 out of 10. What is that? 4 stars? Yeah, that's 4 stars because, like I said, costuming, acting, music, set design, makeup, that was all excellent, marvelous. The writing kind of wavered a bit. In some parts I was like, but it was still like very enjoyable, and I do like it a lot. And if you are willing to pay $30 for it, go ahead. It will be released, I guess re-released. I don't know how they're doing it. On December 4th for free for everyone. So I guess that's what Premier Access means, is that we have the access to it before. But if you want to wait till December, go ahead. Is it worth? I don't think it's a must see right now. Like, oh my gosh, like don't wait till December, buy it now. But it is enjoyable, and I did like it a lot, and I probably will be watching it again at some point within this month. But yeah, that's my review of Mulan. 4 stars, 8 out of 10. If you're on the fence about watching it, I would say watch it. $30, that's up to you. I was willing to pay $30 for it, but I understand if other people aren't. I completely understand if other people aren't. I really bought it so I could make a video about it, honestly, and give my review. Not that I didn't want to watch it also, but I wanted to talk about it on my YouTube channel, so obviously I had to buy it. Yeah, so that's my review of Mulan. If you enjoyed this review, check out some of my other rants, reviews, and rave videos. And I recently got HBO Max, so the list of shows that I'm currently watching has just doubled, because like I said in my last video, I'm watching a lot of shows right now. But now that I have HBO Max, I can finally get on the Lovecraft Country wave. They just released their 5th episode, so they release it weekly. So I can finally get into that show. I can finally get into Insecure. I can watch so many other shows now that I'm on HBO, and so many other movies. So that's really exciting, because it's just a plethora of streaming services that I have now. And yeah, and will I ever finish a show completely without jumping to the next one? The odds are not looking like it's in my favor when it comes to that, because I can't. I have to, when one show irritates me, I have to go to something else. But yeah, so today I will be watching Lovecraft Country and trying to catch up with everyone else, because it seems really interesting from what I've seen on Twitter. If you liked this video, make sure to like. If you're not subscribe. Comment if you watched Mulan. What did you think about it? If you haven't watched it yet, are you willing to pay $30 for it, or are you willing to wait? And like always, tell me what shows or movies you want to hear me talk about. I've got nothing but space and opportunity before school starts, so why not? But yeah, thanks for tuning in.